All right.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am actually excited, but also curious to find out what Mr. Amin Wilder is going to share with us. He's actually a renowned hypnotist and a shaman, and so many more things. And I want to discuss his new book that he published in July of this year, Beyond the Physical. And Amin, tell us the full name of your book, please.
Sure. Hello, everybody. So, the Beyond the Physical, a spiritual approach to gender identity. That's the title of the book.
Yes.
And I'm excited to share that with the world. I think it's very timely at this moment. And be in that space of, helping people to realize the importance of connection with the source energy and the light
Great.
within themselves.
I would love you to share a little bit of your background because not all our viewers have possibly watched our previous interview a few months ago. So if you can just, yeah, go into, your childhood, how you came to do what you do, and what was really the reason for publishing this book.
Yeah, so I grew up in Eastern Europe, Republic of Georgia, but the my childhood wasn't very happy, so to speak, and we are I grew up in an orphanage in my first 4 years of my life, so I really didn't know who my parents were and what the family unit is, and so in just as my other siblings, we are all dispersed in different orphanages.
Oh dear.
So,
Okay.
so, um, so it's really interesting because my book is about my sister that was also in an orphanage, and I actually didn't know that she was there as well, and that we're siblings. And so when we actually reunited,
In the same orphanage?
yes,
Oh, okay. But you didn't know
um,
that she was your sister.
no, and it was after I did my research, after many years, and specifically for this book, I realized that it was pretty common thing to be happening in the former USSR at that time. Um, I do. I did have some little bit of information on that in the book, so people have a better understanding the system and how the communist regime was really imposing on that separation of the family unit. And so we were no exceptions, and we were in pretty large family of 10 actually, and majority of us were taken away from our parents for various reasons. I still don't know exactly what was the reason, and I couldn't find much information on that. But it was a common thing to do, even though it was very much pushed on people. And like my mom had like two gold stars because she was a mother heroine because she had 10 children. For each five children would have a star for it. And
Did you ever find your parents?
no, my parents have passed away. So, um,
But
but
did you find out who they were? Or-
well, yeah, I mean, it happens to be that I had to accept, and the people who brought me home later on, they were my parents, and so that was the only thing I knew. And so, um, yeah, but it's the because of the environment and socioeconomic um, factors that were included. So anybody that were supposedly against the system, and people and neighbors could report you, and the kids can be taken away. So I don't know exactly what the reasons were, like why we were taken, but six, seven of us out of 10 end up in the orphanage. So, and then we just kind of reunited at some point at different age bracket, and then we just had to assimilate into this new setting with all the new beliefs and the new uh, environment, and that now it's just like accepting, well, this is your family, just deal with it, basically. Assimilate, and the faster you do that, the better. And schools are also,
Did
go ahead.
you realize, or did you feel, or now that you look back, was there certain programming of you guys as children in the orphanage?
Oh yeah, I mean, we basically we uh, programmed. It was a back there. I guess it's called like a sanatorium. Here, it's a different understanding and meaning of it, but it was a all the kids are with certain medical conditions, or kids that weren't very much needed by the family or been taken away, and there's some people, some kids that actually stayed longer periods at the orphanage. Um, and we basically were like a little slave workers for the staff within the system, and so they could do whatever they wanted with us, and there was no any kind of responsibility or um, and so we just simply had to adapt to it, and this is just the reality. And that
How
was
old were you when your parents came and took you back home?
um, I was 4 when I was taken back home.
Oh,
So by the time I was taken home, that new home, whatever that was, I spoke 2 different languages, and I was exposed to other cultures in a way. So my formative years, even though it's a first 7 years, but the first 4 years, I, you know, absorbing all that environmental, the cultural and social conditionings that were presented at the orphanage setting. And you weren't very, if you're an orphan, there's not much value of, for you. So as a person, nobody values you. And so eventually they tried to change the name on it, the title for orphanage, and they just like a group home, but it was still same kind of a environment for the children that I grow up without parents, and how they've been treated by society as a second class citizens, pretty much. So. Basically, from that point on, once I got home and start assimilating into this new environment, then um, I find out that my sister was also there in that same orphanage, and so when we got her, she was brought home. Um, she was just different, and so in so many ways that through our next 10, 15 years, like she was struggling a lot, with herself, and not being accepted, and women are not being treated that well, and it's a very patriarchal society, and it's pretty common, I think, still in many cultures, that women are not being respected or treated less than a human. And so she struggled that, and she was very different, and she questioned a lot of stuff. And for me, being on the other spectrum of how it is to be in this culture where um, there's such a big gap and difference between the male and female, and it's all gender rolled. And so I thought it would be, um, even as a memory of that time, for me to, in being in that environment, growing up with my sister, and to express how it changed me through that process of her own struggles, because that was my personal awakening, just watching her struggle. and he opened a lot of different perspectives for me, what life is and what it is to be in an environment where the gender roles are pushed so heavily on everyone. And now at this time when the same gender, roles and what is to be one gender or the other is so valuable, or it's a big, or it's fashionable for different reasons. It's a very political topic now. So for me, it was really important to express my own experience and what I've become to be as a person because of my challenges, my personal challenges, and watching my sister struggle and how it impacted her. And ultimately, it's helped me to awaken to the all nonsense of gender issues. And I wanted to put that in a book and I look at it from the spiritual aspect versus just the physicality alone.
So, what drew you to become a hypnotist? What drew you to your path?
Well, when I actually left the environment, which I think was a really important thing for me to do, because there was no support of any kind to be, whether you're male or female, you have to actually be playing a specific role. And I wanted something more because in my awareness, we all won, but it's just simply experiencing this physicality, but it is the soul that is experiencing that. And so, and nobody was talking about it, all the divine energies within us. So I was seeking a lot more information, and the desire to be better within myself and to be more balanced as a person. It was so much more valuable and necessary to have the outlook that I have on life and what is the gender, anyways. And so that helped me to do research and allowed me to look outside the box, so to speak, to find something to help me to transform my life. And I studied different modalities to help me out, and I heavily just dropped into the spiritual healing. I had my own awakening moments, and where I had to learn and see beyond the veil what this idea of gender is truly. And so I studied hypnotherapy, and that was for me to heal my own internal um, wounds, and that were ancestral, that were some of them are just I assimilated and I accumulated throughout my life within the certain specific settings. And I needed to clear my own self in order to be of greater help to other people who might need the similar, um, from the similar stories, to be able to help them better that way. So, yeah.
So, what are some important topics in your book that you would like to?
Um, well, I want to make sure that, um, the book itself is first and foremost, it's a guide to turn within. And, but I also want to understand for people to see that as a spiritual guidebook that will help them to get somewhere and to clear their own wounds that they might have through their lifetimes. And it was also born, the book was also born from a deep realization, besides my own personal experiences in a familial setting, that many people always looking outside for validation or um, peace, but is always external. But you can't find that outside. So the book is really is to bring people back in and to live from the space of heart. And that's usually the longest journey coming from the mind to your heart. And through, we can't fix anything external and expect it to be happy.
What do you mean?
When, well, you can look for outside, creating that space and environment, seek outside your own self, the validations that you have. You can try to fix yourself appearances wise, to fix your body, whichever way. Um, it might bring people certain, aspects of the happiness, which is all okay. But when you go into such a dramatic state of, I have to change my physical vessel in order for me to actually feel truly happy, the book is about to pause for a moment and just really see the reflection. Is this really what you truly want? Will you truly be happy just um, fixing your vessel versus, how are you balanced within yourself, within your divine energies? Because we're not just the moon and the sun, we are both. And so embracing that, the balancing out within yourself, everything that is outside, then you become whole again. So,
So
and
basically, steps uh, as far as how to reach within and work inside out.
can you repeat that? Where is that? It was breaking up.
I said it's to show people how to go within and work from inside out.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the book is, I think, is a really good. It's not just a reading material. It has packed with a lot of supporting material, like how to do meditations and how to work with your chakra systems, how to use and find right people for yourself to um, to help you to balance those through hypnosis. I mean, you have a shamanic work you can do to help and clear certain ancestral traumas. Um, the past life regression is excellent for that. Maybe there's a lot of issues that you're dealing with in today, it also coming from the past. I mean, there's so many way of looking at things before you make a decision to alter your physical vessel.
Right.
And I have a lot of meditations and how to do um, work on mindfulness, which is really important. And these are all the tools that I use for my own self in order for me to liberate myself from the baggage of all the traumatic experiences that I had. And by no means is finished work at all. It's not, because it's an ongoing process.
Yeah, I
And
think
so, but it makes it more interesting. So for me personally, I feel the more you do your work on yourself, the lighter you become. And then what you see around you, it also makes it more enjoyable.
right. Well, I can attest to how life regression helps with hearing a lot. And you do life regressions. I've done maybe 3 sessions, 4 sessions with life regressions at different times, and it was really pivotal. I really felt like it was one of the best form of therapy, um, because we also bring things from our past.
Right.
You're, totally unaware of it. So yeah, that is a major
Yeah.
tool.
And I feel for me the book right now, the importance of it right now, because it's such a heavy bombardment on what our kids are going through schooling and and it became more political. My book is not about any politics whatsoever. It's about abridging and bringing together the divine energies within yourself, and it's bringing you to remembering who you truly are as a divine being. And you can have all that pollution, of the information that coming at you, and people are telling you who you need to be or who should you be. But ultimately, if you're not at peace with your own self within you, you can't expect external world to be uh, peaceful or well-meaning in a certain way when there's a certain agenda, and it's a political issue. And I think for me, this is important time, and I thought like of bringing that spiritual lens on the issue that we are dealing with right now, and so it really is excellent, I think, material for all the people that are either on a gender spectrum that are questioning things, or they're in a spiritual path. It's ultimately bringing back in to your heart space and to your spirit who you are as a divine being, and go from there and live full life being as a balanced, divine being.
Right. And I feel that, on a daily basis, the source energy and light is getting stronger and we becoming more manifestors. So we create our own uh, life and path. So, yes, working, uh, healing, your traumas from whether it's this life or past life really makes you lighter and makes you manifest and create more uh, of your daily life. I do believe that.
Oh
um
yeah,
yeah, very important. It's a touchy subject really to get into because it sounds very philosophical, it sounds
right.
out there, but like you said, first of all, daily meditation is really, really important because it brings you more within. I would
Right.
say, certain yogas are very helpful, but like you mentioned, life regression, uh, because there's certain things that we bring from our past lives that we are
Oh
completely,
yeah.
that affects us. Uh, Yeah, I'm going to actually give you a tiny example just for the viewers to understand. So from when I was very little, I was actually my father's most favorite. But I remember that even from when I was in the crib, every night when he used to come to kiss me goodnight, I used to shake. I was petrified. And I
Wow.
didn't realize until when I was in my I think maybe 25. I actually used to work with a lot of celebrities for magazine covers and TV commercials. And it was a time when Shirley MacLaine has written her books about, doing life regression and also her voyage to Peru. Anyway, so that actually pushed me to look because I was like, I have to find someone to do life regression. And when I did my life regression, I saw certain scenarios from my past life with my father that had caused my fear. And as soon as I went through that experience, it was like someone just snapped their finger and all that stuff was removed. And from then on, I had a pretty um, interesting, much calmer, much better relationship with my father. So that's an example.
Yeah, it's amazing how much even through my shamanic work I noticed it, um a lot of people have no idea they're carrying something within themselves and they're not having the life that they really desire. And when they come to see me and we go through the clearings and cleansing and removing all the previous traumas, and there's a lot of baggage people are carrying, it's not even theirs. So we're carrying stuff that was generational
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely.
And we pick up stuff because it's, it passed down, through maternal side, like whatever our mothers are have experienced in the past. That's energy that is sits there in the womb. And so when you are in the womb, you accumulate all of that, and that becomes part of you. And so through shamanic work, doing the chakra elimination, you can remove um, and do healing of the womb, which helps women to release that baggage and the trauma, ancestral traumas that will help actually the children today to release theirs. And so you basically stop that pattern and that karmic cycle once you realize and you make a decision to do the womb healing, for example, and you clear not just yourself, but your previous generations from mother side and your daughters and passing down. So it stops with you.
Right.
And so, and I think that's really important to um, understand that a lot of the stuff that we carry, it's not ours. And no school teaches you that. And most of us have never been in that place of understanding or curiosity, like to learn more. So we just program to believe certain things and we just go through life and never question anything, but knowing we're not living full potential. But for me, that's a signal like, okay, so what can I do now to clear that? Because I feel within myself that something is not right and it's not mine. And that self-awareness and being in that state of pause, which is so important. And then you question all these things, and that helps so much to make a much better decisions for yourself and start the healing process.
Right. Right.
And so because of that, that when I included in my book, I wanted to make sure that I'm not really focusing too much on the story itself, but I wanted to, okay, this is what happened and what did I do for myself now to overcome them and so not be the victim to the circumstances. And how can I now show that and share that with people?
So I wanted to actually ask you a question because you had mentioned you had just gotten back from New Mexico or Mexico. You were in the desert for
Mexico.
Mexico.
It's Sonora Desert. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
um, well, I, spend time with the Peruvian shamans, and there's my teachers are also from a Jaguar Path. They are in Greece, and so I also got to meet my the elders, the Peruvian shamans in Greece. Um, so my journey, my path is all about. I'm very curious by nature, so I want to learn more, and I want to add more tools, so then I can be of better service to other people. And it's not something that it ever ends for me because I'm keep learning and I want to be exposed to all different modalities so I can be in that one-stop shop basically to help people with different things. So I decided I needed to do something more, and I actually did experience uh, again in Mexico. I went to do ayahuasca ceremony, and there's always something that needs to be done. And I like, okay, so what else is need to come up and to be cleared out of my system? Um, I had a really interesting experience. I was with other two people, and for me, I realized in that ceremony that for me, I wasn't there just for myself. I was there to hold a space for people. And of many people who are experienced ayahuasca, they aware it's you can do it a whole night thing, or you can do several days in a row to do clearings and um, purging all that is no longer serving you. Um, but in that moment, I realized, like, okay, so here I'm having a ayahuasca ceremony. I'm totally aware of all my surroundings, and I'm holding a space for people that are there for me. And when I realized that, so it was more like I need to be a facilitator for other people to do this. And so with that, I started exploring my other avenues, like how can I be of greater support and help to people through a medicine, that the sacred medicine. And then I came across bufo, which is a toad medicine, and the only place that is in the world is in Sonora Desert in Mexico. So, and it's a really interesting how they select people that are coming there. So um, they go by vibration of your name when they invite you to be on a reservation. And so I spent 2 weeks in the desert, and I met some incredible people. And I
Many
experienced
people were there at this event.
how many?
Yeah.
I'd say about 12 or 15 people. I can't remember exactly, but majority of them were from Australia.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. And so I think the sacred medicine is absolutely essential for our healing. It's I mean, you clearly have options not to go through on that route, but certainly for myself personally, uh, it helped me to strip away a lot of layers that are no longer were serving me. Um, and it's very short medicine, and so it lasts about 15, 20 minutes. But I had some incredible experiences with that. And it's a really dissolving all your personalities and all what you think you are and have you been. And so when there's nothing left, you simply dissolve into absolute nothingness and everything at the same time. With that, I wanted to add that to my offerings to all other modalities that I have, and to have it all as a package of things as people are progressing on the healing journey through different modalities, through meditations and energy work and uh, chakra elimination and all the shamanic work that we do and hypnosis. Um, and then for those who are ready and wanted to go take a next step to it on the healing journey, I think sacred medicine is a really beautiful way to come to that state of wholeness again, to go back to source. And I myself experienced that personally, and it's very gentle. Um, it's a very
Oh,
beautiful medicine.
ayahuasca, you mean the toad,
Yeah, the bufo.
the bufo, yeah.
Yeah,
I personally, for some reason, just don't resonate with ayahuasca. So, but we
yeah,
all have to kind of connect and see what
yeah.
resonates and what doesn't. Yeah.
Yes. So after spending their time in the desert, I got initiated into to become a facilitator of the medicine. And it was out of all people, there was four of us that I got initiated. It was a very special moment, and to be accepted into the community of the natives, and they are the guardians of the medicine. I feel very fortunate to meet such amazing people and the shamans that are beautiful healers.
So these people live in the desert there, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
And
And the
how old would you say? I mean, how does the lineage, how many thousands of years ago does it go back?
the Bufo medicine,
Right.
boy, this is like for as long as they remember. I mean, that's been passed down so many generations. I mean, it's been part of their lineage. And I think it's a really interesting part of what I thought was so um, mystical and just so beautiful and symbolic because the toad only comes out from underground for 3 months of the year.
Mhm.
And it actually lives underground for 9 months. And so, and that's so much symbolism within that itself, you know. It's like a being in the womb of the Mother Earth for 9 months. And then when the toad comes to the surface, it's sharing its gifts of the medicine. So it's beautiful.
So, I mean, we can talk for hours and hours, and hopefully we will continue maybe in a month or so,
Yeah.
just to touch base how the book is doing. But any last um, interesting notes or information that you would like to share today?
The about the book.
Sure, anything you want to.
Oh. Well, the I really, for me, most importantly, I feel the returning to home, that's ultimately the most important part of life, in my opinion. And
Returning home to source.
to your heart, because when you're in the heart space, you are with the source. Because everything else, when it's in the heart and comes from the heart, you are in that state of compassion and love, unconditional love to all that is, and for your own self. And so once you master that, you understand the importance of self-love. Then you can also see the world from with unconditional point of view and the love that is for all that is. So I think being in the heart space and then returning to your heart is the most important part of the journey of life itself. So
It was lovely to have you. And thank you again for coming. This was very informative. And to all our viewers, thank you for joining us again. If these subjects interest you, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and you can join us on Rumble and YouTube. Thanks again for being here. Have a lovely rest of your week. Thank you, Amin.
thank you. Thank you.